effective June 4th, 2010. Would someone like to make a motion that we accept her resignation?
So moved. Second.
Under discussion, I went out today and talked to the people in Dial-A-Bus. Alice was the first Dial-A-Bus driver in Orange County. She is 80 years old, and she decided when she became 80 she'd give up her task, hang up her spurs. I think it's a wonderful story. She's still got great enthusiasm, going out every day and meeting the public, the kind of employee you'd really like to have. So she's a part-timer as well, and we will certainly miss her.
Doug, I just want to add to that a lot of you know Alice worked in town hall for many years. Whenever any department in this building, Alice worked for. She would work with CEO, and she said, "There was a Negro here, okay. We need to be okay." It was like, you name it, she could do it. And I remember her saying, "I'll never drive the bus. I'll never drive the bus." And the one bus driver, hurt herself. Right. And she said, "Click, okay." I mean, the woman never said no. So again, what an employee for the town told you.
Yeah. She could go Dial-A-Bus to the town hall.
Yeah. Maybe you got the court. Maybe she was excellent. Really is a nice lady.
Yeah. All right.
Send her a letter
We'll do that. We'll do that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The next item is just for information. We had grievance day this past week, and last year our grievances increased significantly on the assessments of the property, individual homeowners' property and whatnot. I was reading in the paper where Chester went from 100 grievances to 200 grievances. Also, Blooming Grove, I think, went from 100 to 200 plus. We went from 298 last year to 290 this year. And the bulk of these are from companies that solicit from people. They send letters out, they take a percentage or a fee for representing the homeowner in the event they can get a reduction in the value of their assessment. So we didn't see the big change this year. We saw it last year. So, and the talk amongst the county is this year was bigger than ever. And we're not surprised based on the market values coming down. People think that their home is worth less, but it really still takes the same amount of money to run the government. So that's how it all works. But just as information. Under finances, would someone make a motion to authorize the supervisor to pay accounts payable check run for May 27, 2010, amounting to $135,741.03?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we're open for privilege of the floor on anything that anybody would like to talk about.
Hey, step on up, Mr. Moore. I mean, let's say that. Yes, please. If you don't speak into the mic, it's not recorded on the machine.
We only give you 3 minutes at our building, so.
Hey, you can take one.
Well, Kenny told me that you had a slow meeting and he invited me over.
Sure.
He loves these long meetings, so he actually called the other night that asked me to stop in. I understand that there's some reservations about the comprehensive plan that Orange County is doing. So I said, well, sure, I'll come over and give you an update on what's going on. I'll try to be brief, but give it a Cliff Notes version. I start with Walk Hill River update. We're making great headway with that. Just a brief outline. Back in 2005, Orange County was inundated with floodwaters down in Fireline and Goshen. 2003, then in April 17th of 2007, we got slammed again. The Walk Hill River is unable to carry the water in the watershed, which has expanded. After the April 17th flood, Assemblywoman Rabbit, Congressman Hall held hearings at the Government Center. Congressman Hall initiated a study by the Army Corps of Engineers. It's called Reconnaissance Study, Section 905B, and that took place in the fall of 2007. August 8th actually, 2008, reconnaissance study was complete. And in the reconnaissance study, the Army Corps acknowledged that the Army Corps does have an interest in the flooding, does have an interest in the project, and they acknowledged that the river needed further study and the watershed. So that triggered a project management plan, and a PMP. That cost is borne 50% by the federal and 50% non-federal. At that point in time, the DEC offered to partner as a non-federal source of that for that funding. That was August 8th, 2008. March 13th and 14th in 2010, again this year, we got 2.5 to 3 inches of rain. Major flooding occurred in Pine Island. It was underwater. Celery Avenue, the water breached the banks on Celery Avenue, came up on the road in a couple of places, and we still didn't have a PMP a year and a half later. That was enough for me. I said enough for that. March 18th, I wrote a letter. It was co-signed by the chairman of the legislature, Mr. Mike Zillmeyer, and that went out to Governor Patterson, and we paid for pretty much everybody that had a title. I know Town of Goshen received one. Congressman Hall answered that with a set up a tour right after that with the Army Corps of Engineers. Within a week after that, Colonel Boulay, the district commander, came down and looked at it after he got some notes from his underlings. Very impressive gentleman, I will tell you. It was, I expected, Colonel, you think about somebody with a bunch of stars and medals, and this man can take apart an army by himself. I mean, excellent. And paid plenty of attention to it. And all that I wanted was a meeting with the DEC, the Army Corps, the affected parties, because a year and a half, nothing's been taking place. Lots of emails, lots of phone calls. All that we got was this. April 14th, that meeting took place with the county executives conference room. We had DEC, Army Corps, President Walker River Drainage District, Orange County Soil and Water, myself, Chairman of the Legislature, County Executive. Willie Janeway was on the phone. He couldn't make it, but he was on a speakerphone. And my question to the DEC was, what have you done in a year and a half? That's the answer I got.
Right.
So at that meeting, we decided that Orange County will be a integral part of the project management planning to incorporate our desires and needs. Under the direction of Colonel Boulay, we had segmented out from the whole Walkville, so this watershed study, just the Black Dirt area. Orange County is by itself to cut out the red tape. Ulster County seems to have a problem with finances, so we can't be responsible for Ulster County. We have all to do with Orange County. So that's moving along well. We're working with David Church, the Planning Commissioner. We've had a bunch of meetings. Supervisor Bloomfield has attended them, and hopefully he's been reporting back to the board where we are. One of the obstacles in the watershed drainage as we see it is the tree garden that starts at Peloton Bridge and moves down to 17th. On 5/12 of this May 12th, we sent a letter to the DEC outlining our work plan, Soil and Water Conservation District, in concert with Dave Church, and we put together a plan, and we're expecting any day now a negative. We don't need it for that. Quite frankly, my question to the DEC at the meeting of April 14th was, with Class C stream, why do we need to talk to you? And they said, well, you really don't, but we would like you to. So the shoe is a little bit turned around. So we're moving forward. I think we did more since March than we've done in a year and a half, and it's moving along, progressing very nicely. We have a very good